Hello there, my name is Nate the Effing Great, and welcome to another edition of the 12 Days of Bookings. We are on day 4, ladies and gentlemen, where I take a bunch of bookings and I rewrite them or rebook them because I am indeed an effing genius, no ding required. So, I've talked about quite a few different things. This one is going to be a very interesting one because this is a subject that I don't think a lot of people really have taken to heart to what could possibly happen if this situation were to go down. What I'm referring to is Triple H, specifically his final matchup. What would be his final run in WWE? When would be the time where he would call it quits? When would be the time that he hangs up the proverbial sledgehammer, his boots, and continue to be the COO? Now, obviously, a lot of people think, well, you never say never when it comes to WWE, and they'll be never retired. That might be the case, but let's just assume that with this booking, we are taking Triple H's final matchup. WWE, because you have to, do it better. Alright, so first off, let me just state the fact that when I'm creating this booking, I'm not taking into consideration the fact that Triple H did, in fact, get injured at the event that shall not be named because, let's face it, that was just a pain in the ass. Let's just say that injury didn't happen. Everything is going fine and dandy. They do their final matchup, blah, blah, blah. So I thought to myself, what would be a really good final matchup for Triple H? Honestly, it's got to be against somebody who is a younger talent, obviously. It can't just be like a deal between Triple H and maybe Undertaker or Triple H and John Cena or something like that. It just wouldn't really feel right. So I thought to myself, okay, if we're going to face a younger talent, it's got to be somebody that he had faith in, somebody who he honestly thought would basically kind of really be the next big thing, be the next big star in WWE. And I thought to myself, well, who was one of the first few guys that he had in NXT where he created a huge name for himself, and definitely is one of those guys that definitely deserves this huge of a push. And that guy being, unfortunately, it's not going to be Samoa Joe. As much as I really liked the idea of Samoa Joe versus Triple H being the final deal, it was one of those things I thought to myself, Samoa Joe is really good as a heel. He's so much better as a heel. Keep him at that and have him really learn from Triple H how to be, the best. The guy I was actually thinking about that would be the final match for Triple H would be Finn Balor. Alright, so let's just assume that we're building up to Finn Balor versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Here's how I would do it. So, we start off with the Royal Rumble. Finn Balor is involved. He is the number 1 entrant, and he goes just about the distance, almost all the way to the end. He makes it to the final 6, we'll say. During his run here, he actually eliminates Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe is absolutely pissed about that. When he reaches the final 6, Samoa Joe, he grabs Finn Balor, eliminates him, he throws him out, beats him down, and it's revealed on the following Raw. Yep, even though he's a SmackDown talent, he's coming to Raw. He reveals that he was a hired gun to take out Finn Balor. So, weeks and weeks of Finn Balor and Samoa Joe just interviewing. Samoa Joe comes to Raw, Finn Balor comes to SmackDown. It's one of those few times where you see boundaries broken between the two of them. They try to separate each other. Maybe there's points where Finn Balor, he's able to get a disguise as a cameraman. He gets involved there. Samoa Joe attacks him during a backstage deal or when Finn Balor is leaving, because that way there's less security. It's just one of those things where they're being clever with that. They're not just doing the same thing over and over again. No, they're being very creative with everything that they do with their assaults. Then it gets to the point where Triple H basically has to get involved, and he's basically separating these two. He said, hey, you two are the biggest stars that I had signed in this company. I am not going to have you two just tear each other apart where you guys are going to be the next big things in this business. But he also understands the fact that they need to get some frustration out of the way. So he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. One time, we're going to have Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor at Elimination Chamber. So they build up to that matchup there. We get a nice final confrontation between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Balor's talking about the fact that, hey, you were the guy that ended my first NXT championship run, but at the same time, I'm going to make sure that you prepared to fight against me. And Samoa Joe, of course, he's doing his deal. We're saying, yeah, I ended your first reign, and you know something? It's going to be really good when I'm the one who ends your career. So we get Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe at Elimination Chamber. The two of them have an absolute slugfest. It's a really good matchup. Referee gets knocked down, and Triple H comes down. He actually screws Finn Balor, and he helps Samoa Joe pick up the victory by pushing Finn Balor off the ropes. Samoa Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch. Finn Balor has no choice but to pass out. So, Samoa Joe picks up the victory here at Elimination Chamber, and we get the explanation from Triple H. He said, Balor, you need to realize that when you first came here, Finn Balor, when you first came here, I had so much faith in you. You were going to be the guy who I almost could anoint to be the next huge star in WWE. You were kind of going to be like the second coming of Randy Orton as of sorts. And then you got injured and you just lost that it factor. You lost that touch that I had faith in you. With Samoa Joe, yes, he also got injured, but he never lose that touch. He never lost that it factor that he has still within him. So he's basically saying, Finn Balor, you're useless to me, but Samoa Joe, he is a commodity. He is a big-time guy for me, and he's helping Samoa Joe pick up victory after victory on SmackDown. Finn Balor is saying, hey, I want a rematch with Samoa Joe. Triple H is just like, all right, fine. You'll get a rematch at Fastlane. Now, if you lose, you will be banished from WWE. Finn Balor says, all right, I'll do that. But to counter-offer that, if I win, then I get you, Triple H, at WrestleMania. And of course, Triple H just like, there's no way this is going to happen. You're going to leave WWE. I accept those terms and conditions. So, we get Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe at Fastlane, and it is actually one of the closures of the matchup. As much as I would love to see the WWE title, this is one of those matches that just, it really feels like it should really close the night. Give them 30 minutes of just beating each other up. And it's still the regular Finn Balor. It's not Demon Balor. No. So, Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, like I said, at Fastlane, the two of them just give it everything. We see sling blades. We see, slams. We see everything these guys are pulling at each other. Samoa Joe just about locks in the Coquina Clutch. He locks it in, and then Finn Balor reverses it into a rolling pin. 1, 2, Triple H pulls him out, knocks the referee down, and it almost seems like it was going to be a 3 count. Finn Balor basically tries to take out Triple H, but Triple H counters, hits a pedigree on Samoa Joe. Not Samoa Joe, on Finn Balor, my apologies. Samoa Joe looks to pull in the cover. And it looks like Triple H is going to grab the referee, when all of a sudden, out comes Carl Anderson. Out comes Luke Gallows. Out comes AJ Styles. They get involved in this matchup because of the fact of one thing. That is indeed the club. It is one of those things where it is going to be a one-time deal, but it's one of those situations where they're trying to even the odds. They're basically saying, hey, you mess with a brother from our club, you're going an ass whooping. So they basically take Triple H down. They send him up the ramp, and we also see the Magic Killer on Samoa Joe. Finn Balor hits a coup de grace. 1, 2, 3, and Finn Balor gets the victory over Samoa Joe. So here's the thing. I know a lot of people are saying, but that solves nothing because Samoa Joe got beat by 3 guys. Technically, during this matchup, they were putting each other, through a lot of hell, and you knew that Finn Balor had the better moment. The problem was that Triple H also got involved. So this was, again, another one of the situations where they're evening the odds. So obviously in the build-up to WrestleMania, we get Finn Balor and Triple H having a couple segments. Balor is actually doing something that a lot of people were not expecting. Triple H is doing all these hired gun deals. He'd throw him in handicap matches. But every so often, Finn Balor, he actually finds a way to outsmart Triple H. And this is one of those situations where people are like, whoa, this is new, because usually a lot of what Triple H does works. It's not until the final Raw where Triple H finally gets that last laugh, because they have the contract signing, and Triple H says, you know what, I am sick and tired of all this. I want you out of the company, but I want you out of wrestling. So therefore, at WrestleMania, if you lose to me, you will indeed retire. Finn Balor says, I will only put my career on the line if you do the same. And not his career as the COO, his career as a wrestler. He is saying, for too long we have seen you beating everybody. We have seen you taking everybody down a peg just so that you can still remain relevant as a wrestler, as a star. You need to be put in your place, and I'm going to do that at WrestleMania. So Finn Balor and Triple H both agree to put their careers on the line. The loser will have to retire from wrestling. They sign the contracts. After Finn Balor signs it, Triple H hits on Finn Balor. He takes a sledgehammer, bashes it on Finn Balor's head. So Finn Balor is going in not quite at 100%, but we get a little bit of an interview in which Finn Balor, of course, does his deal where he is holding his head and he's just saying, Triple H, you have no idea what you have done. So we get to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 35 is what I would assume it would be had Triple H not gotten injured. Triple H, he comes out. He's coming out as a king. He has, these like a horse-drawn deal. He's being taken down to the ring. He's looking crazy. Maybe he has a bunch of servants and blah, blah, everything like that. He's got always some of the best entrances. So this is one of those situations where it doesn't change. We get Finn Balor coming out as the demon, and it is legitimately like a darker demon. I would honestly have him a little bit as a Carnage demon, where he has like mostly red, a little bit of black here and there. It's just literally one of those costumes where he looks legit freaky. And of course, everybody knew it, even without him saying, hey, I'm going to unleash my inner demon out on you. It was just one of those situations where it had to happen. So we have Demon Balor versus Triple H at WrestleMania. And these two guys just put everything that they have at each other. There's no Stephanie McMahon, no Samoa Joe. The board of directors said, hey, nobody's going to be at ringside. Nobody's going to interfere in this matchup. Otherwise, they will indeed be fired. The only way to win is by pinning. We see Finn Balor using his fast-paced style to take Triple H to his limits. We see Triple H use the powerhouse game and some of his technical skills to ground Finn Balor. We see Finn Balor hit the shotgun dropkick. He hits his first coup de grace. 1, 2, Triple H kicks out just barely. He just barely kicks out. And then Triple H, he goes for the pedigree, hits it, boom. He covers 1, 2. At the last possible second, we see Finn Balor get his foot on the bottom rope. And Triple H is thinking, like, I did it. He's gone. But the referee's saying, no. You didn't come close enough. You didn't do it. And Triple H just thinking, damn it. So Triple H goes for another pedigree. He hits it, but it's so thunderous that he actually has Finn Balor thrown to the outside of the ring. And Triple H is just thinking, this is not at all what I was expecting. So Triple H thinks to himself, okay, here's what I'm going to do. He grabs the sledgehammer. He gets ready, and he is just about ready to attack Finn Balor with the sledgehammer. He runs at him, just about hits him in the head. Finn Balor hits the drop kick to Triple H's leg, and we have a situation where the sledgehammer, this is going to be really weird, but it would be kind of cool. Triple H has the sledgehammer, and it kind of knocks right back into his face, so Triple H is dazed. He's confused. He gets back into the ring. He rolls in. Finn Balor, coup de grace. But he's thinking that's not enough. Second coup de grace. And Triple H is just absolutely just wrecked at this point. He is just slowly getting back up. Finn Balor is thinking, I got him. But just as he sees Triple H going up, Finn Balor is just looking at him thinking, this is a guy who I used to idolize. This is a guy who brought me in. And it's like there's a part of him that thinks I shouldn't do this. But he also remembers all the stuff that Triple H did to him. Triple H, he just looks at him. He just tells Finn Balor, come on. He does the suck it deal. And he spits in Finn Balor's face. Finn Balor, you just see him have that motion and that look on his face of just like, all right, if that's how you want to play. Shotgun dropkick. Finn Balor goes to the top rope, hits a massive third on Triple H. 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor is victorious. He gets a huge win at WrestleMania, and he ends the career of Triple H. Finn Balor is victorious. Like I said, Triple H is slowly getting up. He's just about ready to leave the ring. Finn Balor stops him. He gets him back into the ring, and he's basically saying, no, this is your moment. You give these fans a proper farewell. And they don't shake hands. Instead, we get Finn Balor raising up the fingers for the too sweet. Triple H, he does the same. It's kind of like a click and club deal right there. It's just a beautiful moment where they just too sweet each other. Finn Balor raises the arm of Triple H. He leaves the ring. He lets Triple H just soak in the fact that this is his final match. Fans are, of course, chanting, you deserve it, you deserve it. We get the final farewell on Monday Night on Raw, where he says, hey, this is not goodbye for me. This is just me saying that it's finally time to stop wrestling, to stop being an entertainer, focus on being a leader behind the scenes, and be there for all the talent. So that way future talent like Finn Balor can indeed prosper, can indeed grow, and can indeed become big stars, just like I know he's going to be. And guys, the following year, WrestleMania 36, I would have Triple H be the major inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's how I would do it. And that is how I would book the final run of Triple H. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are totally on board for the idea. Who do you think should end Triple H's career? Who do you think Triple H's final match should be against? Let me know in the comment section below. You know how to follow me on Twitter. You know how to give us a like on Facebook. You know that you can check us out on Spreaker.com as well as YouTube, iHeartRadio. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good one. And this just only keeps getting better and better from here. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.